Next show we're talking about is Oshi Season 2. And this show just keeps getting better. And better and better and better. I don't think there has been a damn bad episode from Season 1 or Season 2 that I have watched yet. I have watched everything so far and it has been good. So this is episode 21, I think it is, of Season 2. So we sit down and they have the conversation. Himekawa and Aqua are having a conversation about their father. Kind of confirming like, oh yeah, you know, me and you, we're half siblings and I would really like you to know more about my father. And so Himekawa's like, alright, I want to know about my father. And he kind of explains like, yeah, my father, like our father, you know, he was in the entertainment industry. He wasn't a super big star, but he definitely was trying to make his way. He was a bit struggling. And he's like, well, they're not here anymore. It's like, what do you mean? And so he finds the article, gives him the article, where both his mom and his dad both committed double suicide. Oh, I can't say that! They committed double unalive. They game ended them. They game ended themselves. There we go. They game ended themselves in a video game. Oh, ooh! I was about to fuck up everything. Jesus Christ! But yeah, they have definitely game ended themselves, and Aqua is kind of surprised. And honestly, I'm kind of surprised too, because I thought we were gonna get a little bit more history and a little bit more dad. Himekawa does talk. He's like, yeah, I didn't like my dad. All of this shit happened, and it kind of sucks. And then you kind of connect the dots a little bit, right? Because Himekawa was put in, I think, in like an orphanage or in a home very, very early on. And I don't think Himekawa and Aqua are far in age, but it's definitely one of those things where it's like, okay, it was probably like not that long after they died, right? Now I will say this, because there's a bunch of things, like hearing this, there's a bunch of things that happen, right? So like, it kind of makes sense, but kind of doesn't, where it's just like, oh, then probably what happened is like, you know, he was hooking up with a bunch of people and this stuff happened. Or like, you know, the double homicide. And it doesn't really, Himekawa doesn't seem to question it, so there is a chance that like, he definitely did this, and probably either soon after or not long after the whole eye thing happened, he ended up doing the double unaliving with his wife. But then when you think about it, certain things don't mesh. And there's also that thing where it's like, well, there is like I think they said it was a 90% match, which means it's high. They are most likely siblings. But Oshinoko does leave enough room for there to be like, oh yeah, we're siblings. But how much are we? Like how like, but like it leaves the chance of just like, oh, there's that 3% where they might not be. It leaves a 3% where that might not be. Now it's a high match, so that would be super weird if they not let us on, but if they did that, where it's just like, ooh, what the fuck? Like you're doing all this, but then kind of leading on the fact that this is not all happening. But yeah, it definitely comes to kind of leave. That's like, ooh, I mean, there's a possibility, but also maybe not. But I think they're leaning more into Himekawa and Aqua actually being brothers. And so after you explain all that, and you know, Aqua's kind of not necessarily at a dead end, but he is at the point where he's like, yeah, this person is who I was kind of hunting for, trying to get answers from, is no longer here. Like I can't do anything about it anymore. Regardless of whether I want to, I can't really find the answers. And so he's kind of sitting there. He's just like, well, what the fuck do I do now? And like he's like kind of thinking this. It's kind of like, I think they're trying to cheer him up. He's like, hey, let's let's drink a little more in celebration of, hey, we're siblings. Didn't know that. Don't start calling me big bro and like out there, it's kind of great. But like, hey, it's kind of nice to know I have other family. That's kind of cool. Like Kimiko was like, hey, fuck it, let's drink to that. Like I kind of appreciate that. But Aqua eventually gets home. And he sees that, like, Ruby's coming up to him. It's like, where were you? I was fucking worried. He calls Kana. Kana's like, what the fuck? Like, you left. But she seems obviously relieved. There's Akane, who's, like, was texting him. He's like, hey, please get home safe. This, and, like, it's kind of all in a common, like, accumulation of you see with, like, Kama, Himekawa, who's, like, kind of instantly embraced him. There's Ruby, who he still has. There's Kana, who he still has. There's Akane, who he still has. And he's kind of realizing he's just, like, I think, like, it also kind of pairs with everything where it's, like, I actually have, like, a lot of love in my life. And the one thing that was kind of holding me back was this eye thing. I'm trying to figure out everything. But I don't have that anymore. Like, my dad's dead. I can't reach out to him anymore. So it's kind of one of those things where it's just like, I wonder, where do I go from here? And the thing he kind of is asking himself, too, was like, oh, can I kind of live for myself now? And something interesting happens. Where, as he's, like, thinking this, you see the sunrise, you see him thinking, like, can I finally move on? He's like, because it's one of those things, like, if he's dead, and he assumed that the father was potentially the person who murdered Ai, it's one of those things where he's sitting there, and he's like, well, he's dead. There's nothing I can do about it now. Like, he unalived himself. So where do I go from here? And it's like, can I kind of move away from this? Can I actually start enjoying and living life like I want to and actually be the person that I want to be? No longer living in this shadow that was casted because of not only Ai's bright star, but also, like, Ai's trauma and all that. And you see that the eye that he has, the eye that attaches him to Ai, dissipates. It's gone. It's no longer there. To where when Ruby goes up to him and he asks him what he wants for breakfast, you see him turn with a smile on his face and the shimmer's gone. Now, what this entails, it's kind of complicated, right? But my whole assumption to this is that eye is the attachment that Ruby and Aqua have to Ai. And obviously, like, Akane sorta kinda has that, but for Akane, I think that's more representative of the actual, like, spirit and actual talent that she has, rather than the, like, attachment, right? But that kind of dissipates. And I wonder, okay, I'm actually just thinking this. Another thing could be that, you know, not that necessarily that spirit's gone, but that drive to be in that entertainment industry and to want to be like that and to want to be involved in that stuff is gone. And so his drive for that stuff might not be there anymore. Or in a sense of, like, you know, he's like, I don't have to do all this. I can just kind of do what I want and live free and actually enjoy myself for the first time in a very, very, very long time. Damn near almost his life, since he was like almost before he was like a damn near child. Which is very interesting to me. I was not expecting that. I was always expecting the eyes to kind of be there just as a representative of Ai, but now that it's gone, that brings so much more meaning to the eye, because Ruby still has her eye, and the dissipating of the eye kind of entails that it's kind of a bad thing or some resentment or trauma that might be happening. So that's where I kind of sit there. I'm just like, what does this mean? What does this mean? But as this continues to everything that is on, we now pivot from away from the play, because at this point now it seems like the play has wrapped up. We are now done with the play. So I think these next couple of episodes are actually going to revolve around B. Komichi, which is Kana, Ruby, and Memo-chan. I did get the Memo-chan or Mem-chan. I can't remember. I'm going to call her Memo-chan for now because I think that's the way I know her, but forgive me if I get that wrong. But as this is going on, as like we're pivoting away from the play, we're now focusing a little bit more on B. Komichi, where they're talking about how, like, oh yeah, well, Kana's done with her play, so now it's time for us to kind of kick everything up into gear now. And so Memo-chan's like, okay, so first thing we need, she has like a plan, like a kind of like a 3-step plan, sort out stuff. So first thing she wants to do is do like some content on the channel that's actually going to like make them a bit more personal and make them a bit more interactive. And what she suggests is, oh, we should do room tours. And Kana is like, I don't really want to do that. You know, I get it. Like, celebrities, they don't really have a personal life, but my room's kind of my room, so I want to try to keep as much as I can, you know. Memo-chan gets her because she's like, you know, if we do your room tour, since this is a business, on your tax write-off, we can use this. We can like use the room stuff and write them off as expenses for the business. And then it cuts to immediately Connor just being like, oh yeah, so this is like my $10,000 Louis Vuitton bag. This is like my desk, it's super expensive. And Memo-chan's like, yeah, you're really living into this, aren't you? And Connor's just like, oh, of course you gotta live stylish, you gotta live good, because if you want to be on top, you gotta live on top. Ruby, though, is also a bit worried, but for completely different reasons. Because as we cut back, we see that she has a lot of pictures of I with her and I. And she's just like, yeah, I gotta kind of keep this down. I have to kind of keep this a secret because, you know, this is kind of the secret that I am taking to my grave. I'm not gonna let anyone know that I was Ai's child because that's gonna bring so much bullshit. And we kind of find out the two reasons she's doing it, which one we already know, and two was kind of obvious. Honestly, thinking about it, sitting here now, I really should have realized that was the case. But it was nice getting that type of context, honestly, because she's going off being like, oh yeah, I started this one because I wanted to try to rise to the talent that I should have before her, for, you know, her untimely passing. And the second part was, and she doesn't say it, but we cut to, I don't remember how long it was. There might have been children or it might have been recently. But Ruby is actually calling the old hospital she was being taken care of. And when she gets the call, oh, I wrote down his name. Hold on. What is that man's name? It was like Amamiya, where she calls for Dr. Amamiya, and the hospital reports Amamiya hasn't been here for like a decade. He's gone. We don't know where he is. That man just fucking disappeared out of nowhere. And so she's shocked. She's like, holy shit. So it's only safe to presume when someone's gone like that, they're gone too. They're gone. And so obviously we reveal that she's also doing it, you know, for him, for past stuff, because of obvious things. And like, honestly, it's kind of nice to kind of get more attention on Ruby. This is definitely the episode in the season that has had the most Ruby so far. So I appreciate that, getting at least some attention, right, on Bikomichi and Ruby and all of them. And so apparently the room tour is good. And so I think the second thing they want to do is do a music video. And they're like, oh, cool. It's like, yeah, but we shouldn't do a music video with Bikomichi. With Bikomichi songs, because we have been doing that and we've been okay writing off Bikomichi, but we need to start making original songs. We need to start making a music video for our original songs. And we actually find out that, I forget her name too, but the leader or the head for Strawberry Production actually reached out to, I forget his fucking name too, I'm so sorry, but the dude who was writing all the songs for Bikomichi. And he's just like, yeah, you know, I reached out to him, trying to talk to him. It's like kind of been a minute since I've talked to him, because he seemed like he might be kind of busy doing stuff. And obviously Ruby, being the impatient girl she is, she's like, it's like, oh, so we should like probably wait, not push it too hard, but we should probably wait, just let him like contact us when he can. And Ruby's just like, nope, call him now, try to make the song. And she does make a good point where she's like, we're trying to be an idol group, and a lot of us don't have that much time, where Kana is, you know, her main thing is acting, and she will probably get a role, and she might go off to be a big actor. She might not have time for this. And Memo-chan, even though said pretty brutally, like I think they say she's 25? She's 25. And so she's just like, she'll be 30 in like not that long, which is like 5 years, which to be fair, it's not. It's mean, but that also is how the idol industry works, where they want like the youngest and like the youngest people they can, and the youngest and prettiest. So unfortunately, once you hit a certain point, I mean, Memo-chan's been working really well on herself, but like, unfortunately, that is just the harsh truth of the idol scene. It's really bad and it's toxic, but I mean, at least they're being real about it, if we're being honest. At least they're being real. Like, it sucks, but they're being real about it, which I appreciate. But also, it also hurts being real. It really does. It hurts a lot. But, so, the CEO, well, not CEO, but the leader for Strawberry Production does reach out to him. And you see that, like, obviously this man's stressed. And I think they actually explain it as big stardom syndrome or something like that, which I thought they were just making this up, but it's Oshi no Ko, they don't make it up because it makes a lot of sense. Where it's like, well, think about it. When you're young and you reach a big thing and you're on top for so long, you like when you're young and you start off and you hit that stardom point, you have all these ideas you want to pour out because you've never got to that point, right? So you're doing this, you're doing that, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're doing this, you're doing that. You're putting out everything that you want to, every little feeling, every little moment, every little song, every little emotion you're putting into it. But there comes a point where like you do so much and you drain so much, and eventually you just get to a perpetual state of writer's block where you just sit there, you're just like, I have done everything I want to do. I don't know what else I want to do. I don't know what else I want. And I like this because it does show, like, obviously, like, inspiration's hard to get by, but it shows just how impactful someone can be. And I think this really helps showing how very similar Ruby is to I in that sense, where the dude's stressed, he's like, I really need to write the song for BK, but dude, I just fucking can't right now. This shit I'm just struggling to do any type of work for this. And he gets a video from Ruby being like, hey, I know you're stressed, but I know you're gonna make the best song you can, and I can't wait to read it because it's Bikomichi and I'm trying to live on that dream. And I do get super inspired because it's true. Sometimes for a lot of artists and a lot of creators, just seeing the person that you're making that stuff for and seeing their passion and drive, it just makes you want to do like so much fucking work. And I completely understand that from the creator, where you just see, when you see someone who's anticipating your stuff, you're just like, oh, I can't wait for that fucking video, or I can't wait for like that thing. It definitely makes you inspired of just like, okay, all right, I'm about to lock the fuck in. I'm about to lock the fuck in because these motherfuckers are waiting, and I'm waiting to get this so fucking good. So I get that part. And then eventually, after that point, I think they're talking about like, now that Kana is no longer doing the play and everyone's kind of rested, we should do some R&R at, I forget where. It is an important place. I forget what it's called. But like, it's like, oh, we should, do some R&R, go to like, film the music video at I forget what place it was. Because Memotron has a friend that has like a little like studio production place, rent them for super cheap at a discount, do the video in like a day, and then the next 2 days just chill. And they're like, you know what, that actually sounds fire, we could actually do that. And they try to bring Aqua along, and it's mainly because Kana's like, hey, we could all do it, since you just also got back and you have free time. Obviously, Kana's trying to get a little bit closer with Aqua, being like, hey, I like you a little bit, you wanna come on this little thing? She doesn't say it like that because she's very, very nervous. But we do see, so those things are important. We do see like a visible change in his character, where he's not super down and he's not super focused. Like, there is definitely a vast difference with Aqua and how he holds himself. He's definitely a bit happier. Not a bit. He's a lot happier. He's enjoying his life a bit more. He's like, yeah, no, I'm just, I'm chilling. I'm glad I can hold myself a little bit. I'm chilling. Like, before, he wasn't, like, brooding, but he definitely was like yeah, you're fine, yeah. But, like, he's, like, his tone has even changed. Where, like, again, like I said before, he's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, I think you can do that. But now he's like, oh, no, yeah, I think that'd be good. Like, there's more of a positive inflection in his voice. But also, I forget what happened, but it was the writer for I. During that conversation, as they're talking about the writer and producer for a lot of these songs, we see just a tad bit of that darkness come back in the solo, where he's like, oh, hold on, I could talk to him, get close to him, then I can find out who. And then he snaps back for a minute. He's like, no, my dad's dead. That's what I thought killed her. I have no more leads. I can't go anywhere with it. So my suspicion for this, right, is either, you know what? I mean, there's only one way I feel it. Either something else. I don't think this positivity for Aqua is gonna last any longer. It's gonna last very long, right? Because I think either A, something's going to happen to Ruby that's going to feel that problem, or B, he's going to get another lead for I that's going to reignite that hunt to try to find I's murderer. And so I think one of those two things are going to happen, because I can't suspect the show is going to let him be this happy for this long. It sounds so depressing, but I really don't think this show is going to allow him to be this happy for this long. So I do think we will get something of we will get something of Aqua and potentially him doing some shit, which I'm all down for, because I do like that path. I do want him to be happy, and I get that pain, but it's also one of those things where it's just like, it's like, damn, where do we go from here though now that it is? Because then we can focus on Biko and Ruby, but I do at least want the twins to have something, and at that point, like, his arc would actually have been wrapped up. It's like, well, I'm just gonna be better, which you could build him up to, like, no, one arc actually see him, and then, that's what I can see this show doing, of him actually building up happiness, like, actually building himself to be, like, a happy person, and actually building, like, trying to be free, and then he finds out something, he's like, but I built up everything, I don't want to tear everything down for this. Oh, okay, I think I've, like, not shoehorned, I think I brought myself into a different path. Oh, man. If they let him be happy and actually build, like, a life for himself that he can be happy with, fuck, that's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt a whole fucking lot. Oh, man, I really fucking hope so. That doesn't happen. But, yeah, honestly, I give this kind of a 9. It wasn't as impactful as other episodes. It was definitely a bit more chill. Because, like, we're like, kind of past all of the big stuff. But, yeah, no, I thought this was a fine episode. This was, like, no, not fine. This is an awesome episode. Let me rephrase that. This was an awesome fucking episode. Definitely not its usual 10s, but 9 ain't bad. 9 ain't bad for this whatsoever. So, yeah, 9 out of 10 for Oshi no Kon, because it has been amazing, and I can't get more of it. And I'm scared about what the end of the season is going to look like. But, yeah.